final state of matter. And the proof of this, the platonic solids, they have a thing called discrete symmetry. You can put the cubes together, maybe you can put the dodecahedrons together, but you can't put all of them together. But you can take the wave conjugations right here, and they form supersymmetrical systems. Where
it's a super symmetrical system. This is the What Are We Doing podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and this is episode 142, 40, whatever, something. I don't know. Hey, who cares? Biden's inflation. We're all feeling it, okay? I'm feeling it. You're feeling it at the gas pumps, at the grocery stores. These glasses on my face cost $4,000. Okay, this is how bad inflation is getting. We're spending upwards of $4,500 on a single pair of sunglasses in Biden's America. Okay, and it's hit the pond, it's hit overseas. And it's not looking good for our friends over in the UK, okay? Because they're dealing with a whole slew of problems themselves when it comes to inflation, prices of things, being able to afford it. I mean, just even being able to use their own currency, it's getting bad, like around the globe. People are feeling the pressure of just everything going on and the economic status and world leaders and people coming together and lies and claims and all. And so now this is what we have to deal with on a daily basis. This is happening, I think, over in England. Insanity.
Girls, what's just happened?
So, there's an ice cream van there selling just 2 ice creams with 2 chewing gums in it.
Yeah.
For bloody £9 for 2 of them.
£9 for 2?
Yeah, £9. That is going to get nowhere. One that comes on my street is either £1 a p or £2. That is going to get nowhere with that.
No, he ain't, is it?
No, he ain't.
That's well bad, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you should know. And he only does bloody card. Stood there with my cash. Bloody hell.
That's well bad, isn't it?
Bloody well bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he can hear me.
And it only takes card. I'm standing there with my bloody cash. How I've watched this video 18 times. I cry, I laugh, I die laughing every time. These children are adorable and they're our future. And we need to understand that, listen, you cannot charge a child £4.50 for a bloody ice cream down the street. And when she's standing there with cash and you only take a card, I hope he hears me, like she's the next big star. I hope we give her all of her praises. And this is just what I mean. People are feeling it all over the world. Lou Bug's feeling it. Lou Bug hasn't had a new bone in years because we just simply can't afford it. He hasn't eaten in 6 days. And so he's real hungry right now. He keeps gnawing on my shoe. That's how hungry he is. And so it's a tragedy. It's Biden's economy. It's up everywhere. We can't even buy ice cream cones anymore. You can't even get an ice cream cone from the ice cream truck with no less than 10 quid. And it's not getting good. It's not getting good. I mean, what did I say? These glasses on my face cost $5,000. So, you know what I mean? We've been busy these last few weeks. Obviously, our car episodes, shout out to everybody involved with those. Clips, I apologize, have not been going out simply because, one, I didn't do them this week because Jeff was off recovering from surgery. Shout out to our podcast clip editor extraordinaire. Partially the reason the channel is growing so much as it is. Shout out to Jeff recovering from surgery this week. Jeff was the second person to receive Elon Musk Tesla Neuralink. So basically, Jeff had to undergo a very traumatic brain surgery. They've been prepping him for like the last 2 to 3 months. And he went under. The procedure takes about 12 to 14 hours. I think he was out in about 11. I think it was about 11, maybe close to 12. And dude, I mean, he's got a huge scar on his head, but it's basically worth it. Because for the last 6 days straight, he's been doing nothing but day trading GME and AMC stocks while simultaneously destroying every 13-year-old at Fortnite and Call of Duty on Xbox and his PS5 at the same time. You can watch his live stream of Fortnite on Twitch and his live stream of Call of Duty on Kick. And it's just this man, he's doing 18 things at once, all thanks to the Neuralink. So he's been recovering. Basically, what's going to happen this week is he's gonna get the Dropbox shared link that we share to edit the podcast together, and he's going to basically just like blink his eyes, and the podcast is going to be clipped, edited, color corrected, and it's all going to be thanks to the Neuralink. So we're basically renting Jeff at the moment for his access to this technology. We're going to see what we can do about getting Lubug on the list to be the third candidate. If we can get the Neuralink inside this Frenchie, what's going to happen is we're probably going to be able to teach him the English language. Therefore, we're going to be able to talk to Lubug real soon. So, new co-host potentially coming thanks to Jeff. He's recovering from surgery. Shout out to Jeff. I can't wait for our instant podcast edits. And he's on the oh my god, he's ladies and gentlemen, he's literally breaking into our frequency right now via, I don't even have Zoom up. I don't have Google Meet. I don't have anything on the internet as of this very moment. But Jeff is hacking into the studio to let us know. Wow. Okay. That's correct. Wow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of Elon Musk and the Neuralink. So hopefully that becomes a consumer product real soon. Okay. And so, of course, as everyone knows this week, okay, good. Lubug's taking his place behind the camera. Everyone thinks I'm doing drugs because I keep fucking with my nose, but it's just because my mustache is too long and my nose, I need to trim my face for tonight's event. I'm going to an exclusive VIP movie premiere, something that not a lot of people were invited to. I was, though, of course. And so I got to fix the face, but all my hairs are touching and my face is just bothering me right now. We don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school. And so Lubug does, but he just needs them to function. He's been through a lot. Trust me, he's better on the hard stuff. And so, all the news this week, we finally got the official announcement from our dearest friends at Red Lobster. And I know so many people are devastated. Let's prayers and shout outs and just our thoughts and feelings go out to Los over at the 280 Plus podcast. We know he holds Red Lobster near and dear to his heart. Some of our parents, our in-laws, most boomers, I think when I was just at a birthday party and someone's mother, we had food provided at the party, but because it was just down the street, she was contemplating some Red Lobster. So listen, the boomers are about, their life source is being sucked away from them as we speak, and it's official this week as Red Lobster has officially announced. Last week's news was just kind of the speculation while they got everything together. They weren't too sure what moves they needed to make, but we got it figured out now, and they released the official statement, which I will read for you word for word now. Dear guest, you may be aware Red Lobster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. we'd like to take a moment to explain what this means for our company and for you, our valued guest. For more than 5 decades, 50 years, we've had more than 50 years of Red Lobster. Holy crap. For more than 5 decades, Red Lobster has been a part of your family's life. We've been there for your celebrations, big and small. We may be the place that you first discovered your love for seafood, or where you met the love of your life on a first date. Birthdays, graduations, anniversaries, and yes, weddings. We've been there for them all, and Red Lobster is determined to be there for the moments for generations to come. And that's why we filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. They're not going anywhere, babes, okay? And they're going to explain the whole thing. I know what you're saying, Levi. I thought that meant they're out. No. Just like 50 Cent can file for bankruptcy and somehow still have $1 billion, so can, Red Lobster. It's a business move. It's a chat. Listen, every business strategy, whether it's good or seems bad, is a chess move in a bigger play. There's something else going on behind the scenes at any given time. Why do you think I do this podcast? There's chess moves that are being made, okay? Bankruptcy is a word that is often misunderstood. Filing for bankruptcy doesn't mean we're going out of business. In fact, it means just the opposite. It is a legal process that allows us to make changes to our business and our cost structure so that Red Lobster can continue as a strong company going forward. As many of you know, we recently made the tough decision to close a number of restaurants. And for those of you in the central Pennsylvania area, fear not, your locations did not make the cut. All of the central PA locations will remain open. I think there's one in York, one in Lancaster, most likely, 2 probably in maybe one in Harrisburg. There's definitely one in Harrisburg. There's a few around in central PA, probably near a shopping mall, shopping center establishment near you. So they're all still open. The only one that closed in Pennsylvania is up in Erie because it's a strange town and no one should live there to begin with. And it's weird and they don't have anything and no one goes out to eat there anyways because it's strange and it's a weird town and no one goes there. And so I went there once and I hated it. It was terrible. And so, of course, they closed that one. So all the servers on Monday, I think this week, went into an empty restaurant and pretty much their job's gone, unfortunately. The truth is, some of the world's most beloved brands like Delta and Hertz have used the same process to protect their futures and their customers' food with them and rooted them. And because of that, they emerge stronger. Together, we have a lot worth rooting for. We've made decisions, high-quality seafood accessible for generations. I'm sorry, decisions. I said decisions. I can't read. I have a 2nd grade reading level, if you can't tell. We've made delicious, high-quality seafood accessible for generations. Many of you have tried Red Lobster for the first time at our restaurant. We've brought you Lobster Fest and Crab Fest over the years, and of course, no meal is complete without Cheddar Bay biscuits. We are here and ready to continue making memories with you. Join us, dine with us, root for us. Together, we can write a new chapter. Love, Red Lobster. And if that isn't the most beautiful thing that you've ever heard, maybe not out of my voice, but just as far as, a piece of work goes, you should go to Red Lobster. And that's why we're giving away 2 $25 Red Lobster gift cards. All you have to do is comment below on this podcast episode on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, comment on the main episode video, okay? This one here, the whole thing, the hour-long episode. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment, do those 3 simple things, and your very small self, could be mailed in the mail a gift card to Red Lobster for a whopping total of $25. And if they didn't take it away, it could get you unlimited shrimp. Let's be honest. It could have gotten you, I could have paid for unlimited times 2 for you for unlimited shrimp. But that's what got him in trouble. Unfortunately, once we got this letter, more news about the whole bankruptcy, obviously, once they file, goes public. And we now know that upon filing, Red Lobster was $10 billion. Billion with a B, a quarter of Twitter buy from Elon Musk, $10 billion in debt. They had debt worth of $10 billion, and they only had about $30 million with an M in cash on hand. So they filed for bankruptcy, closed the first wave of stores, and now we're going to go back and see if the books make sense, if we can balance. We might need to open or close a few more restaurants, and then we'll see the resurgence of Red Lobster. And hopefully maybe one day we'll bring back, you know, the unlimited shrimp. But, you know, probably not at the $20 price point, probably at like $45. It's probably, expect the prices at Red Lobster. If you think for a second that new menus aren't being rolled out right now with a $1 to $4 price increase on 98% of the items, get ready. So if you need that extra $25 off your bill, I strongly suggest you comment, subscribe, and like this video down below on YouTube, wadpod.com/YouTube, and we'll make it happen for 2 of you or 1 of you or whoever does it. If anyone does it, say you're here for Red Lobster and let's save the brand together. I saw a whole tower of Cheddar Bay biscuit boxes. I saw a whole tower of them at the grocery store. I was going to buy them all, hopefully to save the company. If we buy the Cheddar Bay biscuits from the grocery store and we go to Red Lobster at least once a week for dinner, I think we can save the brand. We can bring it back to life and we can save the brand. So if you want a chance at a gift card, leave a comment below, hit subscribe, shout out to the almost 1,600 of you along for the ride. So, you know, we don't get away. We don't get away with the news. We don't get away with a week. We don't get away with the podcast. We don't get away with petting the dog without a Donald Trump viral moment. Listen, man, it's the JoJo Siwa effect of Donald Trump. It's like JoJo Siwa out here on social media being like, yeah, well, I'm the only influencer who's also a musician, artist, right? Like, I'm an influencer and do music, and there's no one else really like that. Like, yes, there's influencers, but then they kind of sort of do music. And yes, there's musicians and artists who make songs and stuff, and they have a little bit of influence, but I have like a lot of influence and I make really good music. And so I'm like one of a kind.
Okay, I'm gonna go down in flames for saying that's fine. I'm the only influencer that also does music. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are influencers that do music, and yes, there are musicians that are influencers, but no one that is the equal amount influencer / musician.
I will never, ever claim to be a singer, but I will claim to be an artist.
And she is just desperately trying to be this thing that she's not, and like is looking for some form of validation within the entertainment Hollywood industry, but yet she keeps making all of the wrong decisions somehow. It's crazy. And so, but like, this is what Donald Trump and President Biden are need to just fully understand about each other. Biden needs to understand that he is not going to win against Donald Trump. I'll say it again. I say it every week. Prob's not voting, okay? But it's blatantly clear. When Biden can't find his way through a teleprompter and then off the stage, and then you've got Donald Trump going state to state at every rally he goes to, it's something else. It's something else. It's something different. Whether it's New Jersey and We're talking about Hannibal Lecter eating hot dogs, whether it's the next one after that, and we got a floppy podium and we go off script and we start roasting the production company and like making a whole bit out of it, like doing a stand-up routine, to now we're in New York. We're in the middle of New York, and we've got none other than two of New York's probably most popular. Listen, I don't know because I don't listen to drill rap, but two of New York's most popular, from what I see on Twitter, drill rappers. And it's probably one of his best moments so far.
Here as well as rapper Sheff G. Does everybody know Sheff? Where is Sheff G?
Where is he? Sheff
Where
G.
is he?
Okay.
Come on up, fellas. Rapper Sleepy Hallow.
And Sleepy Hallow.
Come on up here.
We've got New York, presumably, I don't know if they're from the... We've got New York drill rappers, Sheff G, and that's with an SH, and then a capital G, of course. Sheff G and Sleepy Hallow that have you heard of? I don't know who these people... It's fine. I'm just not in the scene, the skin. These glasses, they cost $6,000. I don't know who these rappers are, but presumably they mean something, or else they wouldn't be on stage with Donald Trump. So now I have to go and listen to every single song and discography by these two. That's where I'll be right after I'm recording this. And it's just, oh God, man.
Fellas, how are you, man? Hey. Oh, I like that.
Oh, he's complimenting his grill.
President Trump. Oh, man. One thing I want to say.
One thing
I want to say. Yeah. They always gonna whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us.
All of it. Do you hear what he said? All of us. All of us.
Make America great again.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, fellas.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you very
That's right.
much. That's where I like those teeth. I want to find out where you did. I got to get my teeth like that.
My good God. My good God in heaven. If there is something, let's pray just like Brewski to the Red Lobster gods. Please deliver us Cheddar Bay biscuits from Red Lobster, as well as a diamond-studded, custom-plated grill that costs upwards of $100,000 to $200,000 for zaddy trumpets to wear to one of the debates against Biden. If Donald Trump shows up with a diamond-studded, gold-plated grill on his front teeth at either event, at any point in time in 2024, that'll be enough. I'll vote. That'll be enough to convince me that this man should be president of the United States. If Donald Trump shows up at any point in time on camera between now and between now and November, I swear to God, I will stand in line for 3 hours at that godforsaken church down the street, and I will stamp his name into whatever. I don't even know how to do it. I've never done it. It's fine. I will change my mind. Please someone tell him where to get his teeth done. Please let him go. Please let him go to the place in Atlanta. Please let him go to the place in Atlanta for like $1,200. Let's get Donald Trump. I need his teeth done. Listen, we've gotta make we've got it. We've got Donald Trump at Popeyes and Chick-fil-A buying chicken sandwiches for everyone and their sister who come in. And we've got New York City drill rappers making appearances. He's got the vote. He's got the invite to the barbecue. And unfortunately, Joe Biden buying a few people ice cream that one day and inviting them over to his house for KFC not sure it's working. Not sure that ad campaign's working against New York City drill rappers. So we'll see who wins America's vote, because it's going to be an interesting November. Look, it's what are you going to do? Who's going to do that? Who's going to bring out drill rappers? Not RFK, not Joe Biden. Donald Trump is going to bring out 2 New York City drill rappers at his rally. Who's going to end the rap beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake? Donald Trump. Who's going to solve the Diddy problem? Donald Trump. How crazy would it be, by the way? Listen, because it's obviously and blatantly clear. We're not going to get into it, but it's blatantly, obviously clear that P. Diddy Sean Combs, whatever his fucking name is today, however many times he has to change it, is like going to jail at some point. Like, I mean, it's bound to happen. I know there's statutes of limitations, and he paid off Cassie $30 million, and it's fine, and we can't bring it up, but the video's out now, so like more is probably going to come out. It's like you can't protect you from the NDAs and the bags that you gave away forever. It's going to come out, and so he's about done. So it's crazy to think that like if Sean P. Diddy would go to jail and then Trump becomes president again, Trump then pardons and releases P. Diddy. Oh, wouldn't that be something of a podcast topic? If all of this goes down and the culture, all of his friends are on fire, P. Diddy's world is crumbling around him. He is losing followers from the industry, Hollywood, Instagram. His companies are making statements, pulling out their spots, the record deals, the labels, the businesses he's not associated with, the half-ass baked apology videos. It's all falling down around him, and inevitably he'll end up in jail. And so, or at least criminally charges, something. I think just this morning more charges were brought against him. So it's bound to happen. And so how hilarious of a day when the podcasters find out that Donald Trump is not only reelected president, but he then, whenever it's time to do so, 4 years later, or whatever the process is, decides to pardon and release Sean Diddy Combs from prison because he's been for whatever. Oh, that would be hilarious. Who's gonna solve the problems? Apparently it's Donald Trump. I can't. He's the only politician who's like an influencer, but also a president. Like, there's been presidents, okay? But like, there's never been a president like Obama was more of a president than he was like an influencer, whereas like Donald Trump is like an influencer, but like also like the number one, like majority of people think he's like like all hail Donald Trump, the Messiah, and so he's like also an equal influencer so he's like the first one ever, you know what I mean? And so he'll probably have, there's no doubt that if Jojo Siwa doesn't show up at the White House anytime soon, I'm sure it's going to happen. I want a presidential karma dance. This whole thing that she's doing while she's doing press or whatever with Jimmy Fallon and Mario Lopez, teaching them how to do the headbang thing that she does. It's so cringy. It's so there's behind the scenes footage, and it's just like they don't know. Their like lackluster version just like amplifies her just times 10, and it's terrible. And it's like, I can't wait for her to do that with President Biden, and I can't wait for her to do it with Donald Trump, because you know it's coming. You know Jojo Siwa is on her way to the White House to do the karma dance with somebody. Maybe Kamala Harris. Please get Kamala Harris, because if Kamala Harris does the karma dance with Jojo Siwa, that'll make up for the fact that she said the F word. She said the F word. Kamala's out here saying the F word again. She said the F word, and now everyone, this is why she's our favorite. This is why she's our favorite nonsensical speaking lady in politics, because we don't even know what she's talking about in this clip. It's just her rambling on about when you walk into a room, we're with you. When you're in the room, we're in there with you. We are behind you every step of the way. And when they expect you to talk, when they expect you to work, when they expect you to show up and do what you're supposed to do, you are not alone, because we are there with you, and we are there, and we are going to defend you. We're going to be behind you, and we're going to be there the whole way. And when you have to turn around, and when you have to leave that room, and you have to go to work, and you have to be strong, and they throw that door right in your face, well, you're going to kick that motherfucker down, and that door's going to fall, and you're going to be there, and you're going to work, and we're going to be with you. And a coconut might fall from the tree.
My mother would say to me, don't you ever let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. Don't ever carry as a personal burden your capacity to do whatever you dream and aspire to do based on other people's limited ability to see who can do what. This is part of what's involved, is that we have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open, sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down. Excuse my language.
We're going to make t-shirts with that saying, kick the door down.
And all you need to remember is that if your mother and your father both fell from the coconut tree, you fell from the coconut tree, your boss fell from the coconut tree, and we all rode the yellow school bus together. And that's what the door's all about. Fuck that door. Kick it down. Kick that fucking door down. It's just like we need a JoJo Siwa collab with Kamala Harris. I need it to happen. I need it to be a thing. I need it to go. Because if that's not the worst thing that we're going to witness in the near future, it's not only Gypsy Rose posting thirst traps in the PJs, in the braless PJ top, with a I think it says I love nude shirt. It's not spelled out, but it's implied. Like the thirst trap on the TikTok right after we get into the jail hack TikTok. No way is Gypsy Rose now a jail hack influencer. She's teaching us the ins and outs of how to do things if you ever get locked up, if you ever find yourself in a conspiracy theory jail sentence because you had someone close to you kill your mother. If you ever find yourself in that situation, just know that they don't sell energy drinks in prison. You can't get a Red Bull. You can't get a Monster. You can't get a Ghost. You can't get a whatever you drink. You can't get a Celsius. You can't get a Prime Energy. You can't get a regular Prime. You can't get any of that in prison. It's all contraband. But thanks to Gypsy Rose and the team behind her, and what we have decided is 100% necessary for social media, we're now a jail TikTok. We're now an influencer of the people of prison. Here we go.
So I'm about to show you how to make a prison-style energy drink with only 4 ingredients.
She looks good, by the way.
I want to disclose that this is a non-alcoholic drink. So I don't promote alcohol on my channel.
We don't promote
the first thing you'll need is a bag of Jolly Ranchers, Kool-Aid Hawaiian Punch singles,
got it,
a strawberry Fanta, and Folgers instant coffee. So, first thing I'm going to do is I got my Jolly Ranchers pre-crushed up. That's kind of important. So, I'm going to melt my coffee down first. So you want to get
you put the coffee in,
nice
that's your energy.
Scoop, probably about that much. And you'll want to have a cup on the side with a little water in it. That way you could dissolve the instant coffee.
On brand. On brand.
and you'll put it in the little mixer.
And she is all this in prison, by the way.
So everyone in prison usually makes these drinks because we don't nobody gets Red Bull in prison. So this is just something that we made to have a homemade Red Bull. All right, so you'll take your single and you put it in your mixing bowl.
What are we doing here? I'm watching. Okay. I'm invested. I can't look away.
Give it a good swirl around.
A swirl around. You can't bring me down. I'm a lot of energy right now.
Hawaiian punch because any other flavor would actually just taste really disgusting. So you want to use a strawberry Fanta because the whole point is to make it kind of juicy flavored, very fruity.
Right. I know that's what the Jolly Ranchers
pour your Fanta in there.
Ooh.
And you'll give it a good mix. It will foam up, and that's completely okay.
Mix it, girl.
You can either keep swirling it around till the foam
swirl
goes
it around
down,
in there,
or you don't really have to. So give it a good mix.
I'm sorry.
All right, and then you want to add your Jolly Ranchers.
Not sure what they're for, but we're doing it.
This is just for more fruity flavor.
Oh, more fruity. Should have just waited. More fruity flavor.
You will want to serve it in a cup of ice. Do not try to drink this warm. That would be absolutely disgusting.
Got it. Ice is key.
I know what you're thinking.
Remember
this
that.
Looks so gross, right? But I just, I didn't like them at first, but then they grew on me. So I'm gonna give it a nice good.
Is that a joke? Did she say I don't like it at first, but it kind of grew on me? Grew on a brew because it's coffee.
Right, and voila.
So she made a strawberry coffee drink.
And you just pour it in your cup.
Gross.
And enjoy.
That's all there is. And it looks atrocious.
It's probably
it
good.
Looks like
if you're used to drinking Red Bull,
spit it out.
If you're used to drinking Monsters, and you are also a coffee drinker, this is something that you probably might like. For me, the first time I tried.
So if you drink coffee and you drink Red Bull and you drink soda and water and you like candy, if you just combine all those things together in a cup and then put some ice in it, you're going to love this drink. If you like to drink all those things, if you drink coffee and soda, just start mixing them all together. And then you don't even need to worry about whether it's the morning or afternoon or in the middle of the day. Just drink it all at once. And then it's that easy. You don't have to worry about anything in your life. If you like those things, then that's basically, you're going to love it. You're going to love this drink because it's exactly this drink. I'll tell you what this drink tastes like. It tastes almost as if you took soda, coffee, ice, candy, water, and you mix it all together. And it tastes delicious. That's JoJo Siwa. And now, so we've got thirst traps and jailbait content. I love it. I love it. It's right on brand. It's right on character. It's right on topic. She needs to do nothing more than this. She needs to teach us how to make jail sandwiches. She needs to teach us the ins and outs, what happened, day in the life, everything. The documentary's coming out soon. And she landed her freaking team, her agents, worked around the clock to get her this one thing that she absolutely wanted. And that was an appearance with Kim Kardashian. And wouldn't you know it, we're getting it done on this season. Only on Hulu, baby. So don't be dilly-dallying. I'm sure we'll see clips of it as soon as it comes out. There's already clips on TikTok from her TikTok. It's what we need. If Kim Kardashian didn't jump on this opportunity quick enough, she knew it wouldn't last. And this is it. This is the peak. This is going to relaunch Gypsy. As soon as this episode airs, it's going to revamp the thing. It's going to send everything she's doing skyrocketing. The book's coming soon. She's probably going to have a whole press release wrapped around this Kardashian episode as soon as it goes live. And it's going to be one of the most fantastic things that we've ever seen. Hey, listen, what happened to Terrence Howard? See, I'm dyslexic, I think, too. I mixed the letters up. What happened to Terrence Howard? Okay, we thought this guy, listen, he was on, we loved him. We loved him. Hustle and Flow, the movies, Empire, the acting, the career, the awards, the nominations. And then at some point, the graph just shot straight to the bottom, and the stock crashed, and he stopped acting to do, I guess, some research. And at this point in time, I guess it's been since 2017, 2018, early days, pre-COVID, so we can't even blame that. Terrence Howard has taken it upon himself to attempt to rewrite history in the sense of everything that we know about mathematics, the solar system, gravity, straight lines, shapes, trigonometry, everything that they've taught us, everything that Neil deGrasse Tyson has said, everything that science and Isaac and Newton and everything that has been brought to our attention up until this point in time, Terrence Howard is now claiming is theoretically not correct, and we need to be over here with him on this trajectory, paying attention. Now, for those of you who don't know and are just being introduced to this thanks to the Joe Rogan Experience, what you need to know is that he's not only been up to this for the last few years, he's coined and defined a term for it. It's called teriology. It's not Scientology. It's not biology. It's not geology. It's not trigonometry. It's teriology. It's not Leviology. It's not Joeology. It's called teriology, and it's just his definition, and it's this whole basis surrounded around the flower of life and how he's opened it and how he's discovered what no one else before him was able to discover, and how the flower of life, and they discovered it's in buildings, and it's this thing, and it's not open. I mean, just listen to how insane he sounds about it, because it's fun. It's fun.
Now, the flower of life, it's very, very old. The concept is very old. What was the origin of the concept?
It's the oldest symbol known to mankind. It's believed that it was Anki, the brother of Enlil, if you go by the Emerald
Sumerian
tablets.
text.
The Sumerian text. Why don't you just take the pieces that make up the flower and put them together based on universal ratios? So this is the juxtapose of the mistake they made. I took four of those triangles, and wow. And you can scroll around. This is what happens when four bubbles meet. This is the negative space where they can't touch each other. This is hydrogen. And as I was saying, electricity is always trying to get to the center of that triangle, but it gets pushed out. And now you see it has four contractive poles, which is the electric poles. It has four contractive poles because electricity is seeking a higher pressure condition and forcing it in, where magnetism is seeking a lower pressure condition and spun out. So the vortices, those tips, that's the magnetic field. That's where they begin. But it has an equal attractor and an equal amount of repulsion. So if you go to what happens when 8 bubbles meet, they gave me the patents to that. I called that the tetrient. This is
we got the negative space in between 8 bubbles.
8 bubbles. This is a negative space where 8 bubbles meet, and you can scroll around.
And this is ignored when they're concentrating on straight lines.
Completely, because this, if you look from the top, I haven't violated anything. It fits perfectly inside of there. This is the negative space where 8 bubbles meet, but you'll notice it has 8 contractive poles, but it only has 6 magnetic poles, 6 vortices, so it has a greater electrical potential than a repulsion. So maybe this is the strong nuclear force, and the previous one was the weak nuclear force. I called this the Huntian after my son. So I was like, what happens when 6 bubbles meet? Now you see that it has these huge bubbles, fast moving, but there's 6 strong spheres that's going around this, but the greater attractor has grabbed the 2 weaker attractors. And this looks just like a photon, and guess what? It has 30 poles. This looks like what happens in nature. So I was like, okay, so they gave me the patents to this, but you'll see that there's 6 unaccounted electrical poles to it. So I was like, what happens when 12 bubbles meet? Another stable structure that we basically see in nature, but there's 4 unaccounted electrical poles to it. 4 spin around it. You can count those 4. You'll see 1 at the bottom and 3 on those sides. This is the basis of crystallization, the laws of crystallization. That form. When I was like, what happens when 24 bubbles meet? This is the negative space. If you pull to a horizontal on it, this is the negative space where 24 bubbles meet. This is where you cannot distinguish this from the background because all of the electrical potential has been accounted for. This would be the Bose-Einstein condensate, where something becomes indistinguishable from the fabric of space itself, the final state of matter. And the proof of this, the Platonic solids, they have a thing called discrete symmetry. You can put the cubes together, maybe you can put the dodecahedrons together, but you can't put all of them together. But you can take the wave conjugations right here, and they form supersymmetrical systems where
It's a
everything aligns.
super symmetrical system, and we're just living in it. And so thanks to Terrence Howard, he's got all these shapes patented, and basically we've got the keys to the universe. He went on Joe Rogan's podcast. It was a 3-hour episode. Joe Rogan talked for 13 minutes. When's the last time we've seen and allowed Joe Rogan to only speak for 13 minutes out of 3 hours, dude? I'm pretty sure that's accurate. We're going to double check that, but that's all the episode was, man. It was just big word after big word, and there's nothing else that anyone on this planet can do other than go, yeah, yep, okay. And just understand that this man is, I don't know if he cracked. I don't know. Some people I talked to might have mentioned drugs. I don't know if Hollywood broke him, if it was a cult. I don't know what is going on here, but it was 3 hours of lunacy, of complete. We started the episode with I think Joe asking him what his earliest memory was. And now for 99.99999%, here's my scientific, analytic, whatever opinions. It's 999% of all human beings would say, I don't know, when I bumped my knee, I was 3, or I sang a song when I was 3 or 4 or 2 or 5 or 6. Terrence Howard's first memory was being in his mother's womb when she was pregnant with him at about 6 months old. He would look at his hands and be like, all right, this is my hand. And then he would be like, okay, I got to go to sleep. And then he'd wake up and he'd be in this jelly blob. And then he said he remembers the birth and coming out of the canal. And then he saw a light and then he was born. And he remembers the entire embryo experience. And his proof for this was putting a light and playing a song. He put a light and he played My Humps by Black Eyed Peas. And he would play My Humps, my hump, my hump, my hump, my lovely lady lumps, and put a light on his wife's belly. And then every day he did that at 2:00. And then one day on a Friday after 8 days, he didn't do it. And then the baby pushed up on the belly because he was looking for the light and the Black Eyed Peas. And so Terrence Howard thinks that he remembers, and he knows all this because when he was 3 years old, he had a dream. And the dream was basically this guy, and he took his hand and he asked him, he was like, what do you want? And Terrence Howard was like, I want to know everything. And the guy was like, okay, your wish is my command. Here's a castle. And you can go inside this mansion, this castle, this big mansion, and it's got all the answers in it. And he says every night in his dreams, he goes to the mansion and he gets a new answer. And then he knows how to bring together the flower of life with the negative space into the carbon neutralized ions that the particles from the flower of life, when you bend it at a 90-degree angle, create to basically give us all of the answers to the universe. And Neil deGrasse Tyson can suck my dick. And basically, that was the premise of the entire episode. I mean, it didn't stop. Just when you thought you kind of sort of got a grasp on what he's talking about, then we start talking about this shit.
And that asteroid belt that we have right now, between Mars and Jupiter, that used to be a planet. And I believe that they had humanoids that developed on there. I believe that Sirius used to be a planet when it was here, and the humanoids on there didn't recognize that we don't have a solid core. Everything expands as a sphere, and no sphere in our universe, no bubble has a solid core. We're perceiving it as a solid core, but there is not a solid core there.
Here we
There's
go.
just a bubble. And at CERN, that Hadron Collider, that particle accelerator, I believe they did the same thing, and they popped their planet. And it became that asteroid belt.
Really?
Just take it, if you add up all of the weight of the mass of those the asteroids in the asteroid belt, it will probably equal the same mass as that of
So
Mars.
now what he's claiming is that what science and history and data has shown us is that the core of the planet Earth is hot and magma and like a solid kind of steel foundation, like stuff we can't really even get into because of how gnarly it is, right? And so what he's claiming is that it's not, it's hollow and it's just a bubble, and it's a bubble of gas. And if we pop it, we're going to pop the planet like a bubble. Terrence Howard is claiming that our planet is a bubble, and if we turn on a particle accelerator or drill too deep into it, the bubble's going to pop, and then our planet too is going to become an asteroid belt. And so the asteroid belt that is within the Milky Way galaxy, if you take all those comets and you put them on a scale, it's going to equal that of Mars, and that's where the humans were, and they pop their bubble, and we haven't popped ours yet. So if we pop the bubble, then we're going to become basically space dust. And so hopefully we don't do that. You know what I mean? Hopefully we don't do that. So thank God Terrence Howard saved us from the bubble pop. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And there's more. There's so much more. It's like you can't.
In all places of the universe have figured this out already.
If they're traveling here, they have, because you don't use power to go from one place to another. You decouple from the electric pull.
Big
you
words.
decouple from the Earth, and guess what? The Earth pulls away from you at its speed. You decouple from the solar system, it pulls away at its speed.
This is what we're talking about.
You decouple from the galaxy, it pulls away from you. That's all you really need to do, but they didn't know how to decouple. In 2 years, I won't need props anymore. I'll use molecular excitation, which is all inside of the patents that I've put in there.
So one of the things about this whole back engineering.
What did he just say? I won't need props anymore. I'll use molecular accelerate. Oh my God, what's happening? Like, why are we entertaining this?
Is gravity propulsion systems. Is that there's a system, this is what Bob Lazar talked about, there's a system that uses a stable element.
Here we go. We got to bring up Bob
115
Lazar. Every time Joe Rogan brings up Bob Lazar, someone writes him a check for $200,000. It's in his contract. Spotify. It's in. If you read the fine print of the whole agreement, every time Joe Rogan brings up Bob Lazar, he gets a check. They just drop a new Tesla off at his house or a new studio or something or whatever. Something that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars he'll get in the next 24 hours now that he's mentioned Bob Lazar's name one more time.
It's theoretical until they discovered that it actually exists in a particle collider in the 2000s. So he was talking about this in 1989. And what he's saying is that there's some sort of stable element that gets bombarded with electricity and it creates this gravity wave.
That you can do that, or you can just, like with music, use a discordant tone, and those tones will push away. There's a particular tone that the Earth is on. There's a particular tone, the key of A. It's 432 hertz.
I'm done.
The Schumann resonance.
So instead of using,
all you have to do is have the opposite tone.
Got it.
To that, and it will be pushed away from it. You don't, the same way a bubble at the bottom of the ocean doesn't use any energy to get to the top, but because it's completely in opposition to its environment, the environment pushes it away. That's what you do if you're an intelligent race. You can use an oar. If you're trying to swim across the ocean, you can get across there, but an intelligent species, like Alan Watts said, will use a sail, and they'll tack and make their way across. You use the energy. That's what judo is. It's supposed to be the Tao way, which is the Wu way.
Okay, it's making my brain melt every time I watch it. I just watched all these last night, and I have like 3 more, but I'm not even going to play any of them because my brain is melting. Listen, there used to be an era of Joe Rogan that was so fun and entertaining. Like he would have on like the lead ex-singer of Blink-182 who claimed to have alien bodies in his basement. And like we would have on Alex Jones and all these FBI guys and like the aliens and the Bigfoots and the conspiracies. And it's what made Joe Rogan popular, because we could turn it on and we could just melt and we could listen to people like Joey Diaz talk about farting on the bus for 3 hours and freaking just nonsensical comedic entertainment. And then somewhere along the way, probably the COVID shift, Joe started talking to politicians and Jordan Peterson and all these other people that then we automatically had to start taking seriously. We had to forget everything we knew about the fart jokes and all that stuff. And obviously he still has those people on, but it's extremely hard now to listen to when you can see Joe Rogan fully invested in this conversation with Terrence Howard, even though he himself, I highly doubt, even though he said otherwise on Instagram in a statement, whatever, I just can't formally believe that Joe Rogan believes anything Terrence is saying. It's been proven incorrect. Most of it, I get that some of it is science, but half of what he's saying in the sense of the word isn't correct. Terrence Howard's biggest claim to fame, there's a whole 20-minute, 30-minute video on it that he explains in a speech, keynote, whatever, is that 1 × 1 = 2. And that them teaching us this mathematic equation, multiplication, the school system, everything has failed us to teach us that 1 × 1 = 1 is false, the most heinous claim. And he is dying on the hill. He talks about it with Joe. He talks about it in other interviews. Terrence Howard believes that 1 × 1 = 2. And he goes on a huge rant to prove it, to disprove it. But the easiest explanation I can give you to just counterprove him, and we all know I'm not smart, okay? When it comes to math, I got nowhere close to trigonometry, okay? I got nowhere close to algebra 2. I got nowhere close to any of that in college. I was in a web design. It didn't work out for me in the math class, to the point where I'm pretty sure they invented a senior math class out of nowhere just for me. They looked at me, they put me in trigonometry too, and the teacher looked at me and was like, Levi, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in this class. I know, you know. I left 20 minutes in, I went to the kitchen, I baked some cookies, we figured it out in a few days, and then I was in senior math - probability. And so they said, all right, this kid, he's going out on his lunch break buying the fucking math teacher a Snuggie. He's playing with decks of cards, doing magic tricks all goddamn day long. What can we do? And one of the teachers, who we're pretty sure was smoking pot with all the kids behind the school before and after, he was definitely high during this class. They created senior math probability. And Mr. Adams came in on the first day and said, folks, here's a deck of cards. Each of them has a different face on it. There's 52. Figure out how many combinations there are by the end of the class in 4 weeks, and you pass. And if you don't, you still pass. Figure it out. It's called probability. Here you go. And he went off and played solitaire for the next 8 weeks. And we all pissed off and did literally whatever we wanted. So when it comes to math, I'm not really there at that book smart of a level. But what I do know is Terrence Howard, 1 × 1 = 1. Let's figure out how many Funko Pops we have. If we have one box with one Funko Pop in it, we have one Funko Pop. One box with one Funko Pop in it equals one Funko Pop. Now, if we have 2 boxes, let's look at 2 times 2. 2 boxes, and each box has 2 Funko Pops in it. 2 times 2 equals 4 Funko Pops. That's math. It's in front of you. It's right there. You cannot tell me that if you have 1 box with 1 Funko Pop in it, you somehow miraculously have 2 Funko Pops, Terrence Howard. Where does the other Funko Pop come from? 1 times 1 equals 1. There's 1 Funko Pop in the box. If we have 2 boxes, say there's 3 Funko Pops in each of our boxes. That means 3 times 2 equals 6 because we have 6 Funko Pops in total, Terrence Howard. So if I can understand that, I'm just not entirely sure how Joe Rogan and his infinite wisdom of a $250 million podcast deal can't really wrap his head around the fact that Terrence Howard just might be a little bit mentally unstable. He might have cracked. He may or may not have cracked. I mean, it just...
So you have a son, and how does the sun give birth to these planets?
The same way we defecate and have gas.
We fart them out. We fart them out. The sun farts, and boop, we got Jupiter. The sun ate a beam burrito. Boop, now we got Mars. The sun had some bad sushi from 7-Eleven, had a little gas bubble, circulate a little bit. Boop, now we got Venus. The sun farts out the planets. I think that's what he said. If I'm understanding, am I not on the same level here? What's going on?
Birth to these planets.
The same way we defecate and have gas. Like Jupiter's, that red spot on Jupiter, that's spinning on it, that's going to become a moon. It may take a billion or 2 billion years. That will ultimately become a moon off of Jupiter. Where is it? Right at the equator. Where do we discharge at? Right at our equator. And then it will rotate its way around and slowly be pushed out by the solar wind by Jupiter.
So like coronal mass ejections.
Coronal mass ejections.
So some kind of ejection of...
Coronal mass ejections. The coronal mass ejections. What don't you understand, people? If you don't listen, I get it. If you don't understand what's going on, turn off the pod. It's too complicated. But with what you need to wrap your head around is that for the next 500 to 600 episodes, this is how we're going to be speaking. We are now on another level educationally because of Terrence Howard. So if you don't fully understand coronal mass ejections, like it's, hey, I it's fine. I get it. But, maybe go watch like a Mr. Beast video or something and just kind of sink into the couch and let the rest of us run the world because clearly we're on a different wavelength now.
So some kind of ejection of matter leaves the sun, and over billions and billions of years, enough of it collects, and there's enough of a force
to where ultimately that coalescing idea that they have, that's where it happens. It's not from materials that's just been left over from the Big Bang, like Rupert Sheldrake says, the physicists of today ask for, you give us one miracle and, show us how everything came from nothing and we'll explain everything else. And they can't explain everything else. They can't explain the morphic resonance that's happening between things. Like right now, because I've discovered these wave conjugations, every person on the planet that's been thinking about it will now have ideas concerning, but not just us, but all humanoids throughout the entire universe will now get that same resonance and be able to apply it like the experiments with the rats.
Oh God, now we're talking about rats. We need this man as president. I don't know why he's not on the ballot. If Terrence Howard was on the ballot, I'd vote. Let's get him running. What's the next election? 2028, Lubub? Let's get Terrence Howard on the ballot for 2028 because if there's someone who can change the world Can you imagine what would happen if the minds of Elon Musk and Terrence Howard got together? I think with the 97 patents Terrence Howard has and the power of SpaceX and Tesla and X and everything that Elon Musk, oh man, we're talking about a game changer. I'm thinking Terrence Howard for president, okay? Vice President Elon Musk. It's got a ring to it, and I kind of like it, and I think we need to make it happen. And if Joe Rogan can make the connect, we can have Joe Rogan as Speaker of the House. Anytime he's got to make an announcement for the White House, Terrence can just text him, and then Joe can get on the pod and be like, hey, national update, everyone pay attention. President Howard says we're good to go for another 600 million years. We have enough energy and enough power on the grid to supply human life for 600 million more years. Just so you all know, thank you, love and peace. Stay safe, America. It's great again. Joe Rogan. And then he goes into a 3-hour conversation with Tim Dillon and Eddie Bravo. It's a good day to be an American. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Levi McCurdy. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. If you haven't done so already, please join our Red Lobster gift card giveaway and like this video, hit subscribe, and leave us a comment down below. I'll choose 2 of you, and it's going to be a blast. And if you don't care about the gift card, just hit subscribe anyways at wadpod.com/YouTube. YOUTUBE for those of you who can't spell just like me. Shout out to Lubug. Hit the like button for him because he made an appearance in this episode. And other than that, I wish you a peaceful and happy weekend. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Donald Trump and his drill rapper friends. I can't wait to deep dive into that music. It's been another week. And if you want to hear something crazy, you're going to have to tune in next time because next week we've got an even bigger topic, an even bigger scandal, an even bigger story to cover. Be on the lookout for that. Make sure you don't miss a beat. wadpod.com/links. Check it out. It's all you need. Till next time, everybody, my name's Levi. Chicken, she's a salad. I'm on a Moobs. Moobs is taking over my TikTok feed. Shout out to you. Shout out to your new job at Barstool. Chicken, she's a salad. Sit on it.